The real question here is, do you have a responsibility to take care of your family, even if you're estranged from them? Interesting.
Right. So hip-hop mogul Dr. Dre is making headlines for this exact reason, because his daughter, whose name is LaToya Johnson, there's mixed reports. Some say she's 35, but most are saying that she's 38. She moved from Las Vegas to California, and she's currently living out of her rental car with 4 kids. She's homeless. She's fell back on her car payments, and she's struggling. She's having a hard time. Now, her relationship with her dad, Dr. Dre, who is notably worth allegedly about $800 million, is not a good one, and it never has been. I don't think he met her into the later years of her life, but he did support her financially from the time she was older. She was about in her late teens until about 18 months ago. That's when he stopped, even though they haven't spoke for about 18 years. She said that it's been difficult to get in touch with him or even get him to have a relationship with his grandkids because she sold some information about him to the tabloids once, and he hasn't wanted to speak to her since.
Okay.
And she only gets information and money through his people. Like,
exactly.
Talking to his business,
She can't get in contact with him because once she decided to go to the public to air out some of the grievances they had, he was pretty much done with her.
And I don't think he's ever met his grandkids, has he?
No.
Yeah.
He doesn't even want anything to do with the grandkids. She says that she's tried to kind of build that relationship, even if he's not going to have one with her, but he just doesn't want anything to do with it. And 18 months ago, even after he had the brain situation, she did try to reach out to him to see if he was okay. He didn't want to hear it. So I guess he cut her off 18 months ago and kind of was like, from here on out, you're on your own, do what you got to do. And she's decided to go to the press once again because she can't get in contact with him behind the scenes.
So this is blood. This is blood,
Yes,
right?
this is his daughter.
This is daughter.
Yep.
Full daughter.
Full daughter.
Why y'all looking at me?
Because you started talking.
Yeah, you
That's pretty much why.
kind of commanded the room.
Man, I don't know. And I mean, my knee-jerk reaction is that's your kid.
And your grandkids.
And your grandkids, and you want to take the high road, and you're worth $1 billion.
$800 million.
Jesus.
He said billion.
I just don't.
And he's having to share a bunch of that now these
Yeah, he
days.
is.
Still okay. So let's cut it in half, and then cut the half in half. He's
Okay.
still doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Look, I told you guys the other day. Some people can get away with doing really bad things and not thinking about it. My conscience won't let me do that. As much as I try to hide from myself, my conscience will keep me up at night if I am not performing to the level of my own integrity. I just can't do it. So I think at the very bare minimum, I probably throw them some money and say, I mean, if I'm really butthurt about it, what happened, and I can understand the disloyalty. If I'm really butthurt about it, at least do the bare minimum, which would be to get her off the streets.
And that's where the debatable part here is if you've had, even if it's a kid, somebody take advantage of you monetarily over and over and over again, and at a certain point you're just like, it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you can separate that, which is hard to do because that's such a major component of this story. But at a certain point you're like, I'm not going to take care of you anymore. Like, I got to cut you off. Like, you have to step up and take care of yourself and figure this out.
For some people, that kind of relationship, you end up enabling, like
Yeah.
giving them money. You know, you always find these lottery winners that it's a curse because their family starts passing away because their grandpa is enabling, his granddaughter by giving her money and she's buying drugs with it or something. And I'm not saying that's what this woman's doing, but she had more children when she was already in this bad place, right? Is that on him? Is that on Dr. Dre? Does he need to be taking care of his grandkids?
I see both sides here. I remember years ago, Lionel Richie coming in here and telling us how he had to cut Nicole, his daughter, off, who was all up in all sorts of drugs and doing bad stuff. And he's like, I'm so frustrated helping you. I can't do anymore. I can't do anymore. When you really want help, come back to me. But until that point, I don't want anything to do with you. He said it was the toughest thing as a father he's ever had to do, but in looking back at it, he said it was the absolute right decision.
Dr. Dre hasn't spoke on it himself, but if you kind of listen to the rumblings of what's going on, that's what it seems to be, is that he feels like he supported her throughout her adulthood. I mean, he just stopped 18 months ago, and she's 38. So he supported her through the majority of her adulthood.
Okay.
And she continued to have children and find herself in spaces where she needed help, and I think he just got to the point where he's done.
I can understand that. I just wouldn't be able to sleep with the fact that my kid was in a car with my grandkids. Even if I knew those kids or not, I just wouldn't be able to sleep at night with that vision in my head. I'd have to do the bare minimum to clear my conscience.
Yeah, I understand why he would feel the need to do it, but I wouldn't have it in me. Not with $800 million in my bank and my grandkids are living in a rental car. I couldn't sleep at night.
Right.
The Bert Show.